Good. Bad idea. Good idea. Have someone on the show. Bad idea. Don't remind them to get earbuds.
Yes.
Yeah, that probably would have helped.
That would have helped a little bit.
Yeah. Like I just
No, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, good. Also, bad idea. I'll let you float while I pour.
Oh yeah, we haven't done that. Yeah. Oh wow. This is me practicing for a solo podcast, and I'm already failing.
It's harder than it looks.
So Lee, obviously Rasheed's not with us right now, or
he is not with us right now.
R.I.P.
If only my middle name was I, that would actually work.
that would have been great.
For you gentlemen.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Salute.
So okay, you know it's drawing near, and it's trip time when the bourbon's running low.
Southern bourbon whiskey, is that what it's called?
That is what we have been partaking in, my friend.
I know a lot of people ask, and I could glance at the bottle, but I'm always looking at my notes and not looking at the bottle.
Here, let's just do this. Current bottle.
The current bottle.
If it'll focus.
Will it focus?
No, it likes Rasheed's face too much.
Hey, at least something does.
Just hold it next to your face.
At least something does. This isn't a stellar mug here. It's all I got.
There we go.
Definitely looking rough. I will look just not really better, but I'll at least have a shape up next time you guys see me.
All right. So with that, welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that goes over the good, the bad, and everything in between. I am your co-host, Brian Hull, and with me, as always, is
Rasheed Phillips.
And the face you hear and the voice you don't see.
Lee Garman.
I said it wrong, but it's still technically correct.
It's still, it is technically correct.
So what's going on, Rasheed?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You know what it's like? It's like being in my truck but having someone else drive. I love this. I
do it.
Are you looking out the window right now?
I am.
I do it once every 2 months.
I never get to enjoy the view, so I'm digging this. Like, when did they plant a tree over there? That's fantastic.
It always feels weird, though, when you're in the passenger seat after driving for, ever.
It's weird when you're in the passenger seat of your own car after driving for
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. You're like, what is, there's all this stuff over here? Like, just discovering stuff. Oh, the seat goes back. No, it's amazing. No, Brian, I'm good, man. I guess, do we have good idea, bad idea?
We already did it.
Well, you did yours. Well, you became the host.
Oh, okay, that's true. So, do you have a good bad idea this time?
Yes. Try to praise others, and then they go off on you publicly to where people message you saying they're afraid to comment or say anything.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought you just praised me in another thing we did, so I was thinking it was me.
Yeah,
hey,
I'll stop commenting on stuff.
Anytime.
Hey, I'm not gonna say anything nice about anybody ever.
Exactly. Sort of makes you want to do that, doesn't it? He's like,
Hey,
well.
By the way, so when we were recording last week,
Yeah.
we talked about the Barb's BQ. We'll do a throw a praise out, and we'll see if it has any repercussions.
Yeah, we'll see. It's like, sorry, we said something nice about you. Jeez.
The Barb's BQ brisket class, and at the time we were recording, it sold out. I think an hour later.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
right on.
We a listener hit us up too that he was going. Who was?
Oh gosh, yeah. I don't remember offhand, but they did send a message saying they'd signed up and they're excited. Is doing live, so I'm. That's really cool. I want to go to one of those. Or we should just put one on because we talked about it last time. It seemed like everyone and their mother. Shout out to our buddy Jared Pullman. He shared the cast. He shared the snippet and the shout out. He's doing his still at Modern Barbecue Supply over in Boise.
Was that who it was?
Well, Pullman's he's doing his barbecue class.
Okay.
He's doing the he's doing the
that's right.
$50 brisket 101 over in Boise. So shout out to him for that, man. That's great. We've got to put something together. Maybe we can put together how to do a podcast and drink bourbon class. I feel like that could be something.
I was at Pontoon this week talking. I went to go film some stuff, which I don't actually think I'm going to use. I just wasn't happy with it.
Okay.
But I was talking to them about reminiscing about my first pop-up since my anniversary is coming up, and so the Atlanta podcast was there that day, holding brewing conversations.
Really?
So they've done a live podcast.
They still do it?
They haven't done it in a while.
Yeah,
but,
that's what.
we could do the brew or the brew and Q or the Q and A, the Q&A and Q.
Yeah.
I am not. Sorry, Lee. You suggested that we all wear GoPros and stuff. I'm not going down that road. Like that. That's insanity.
You forget the GoPro's on, and then you hit the head. You're like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody can see me.
No, Mom, I'm sorry. No, we'll sort it. We'll get up with Sean. We're gonna make it happen. If it doesn't happen in spring, it'll probably be.
Oh, it won't
summer.
happen in spring at this point.
Oh yeah, I definitely won't. I'm not even here for majority of spring, but it's definitely going down this year at some point before the calendar year changes. That much I can. That much I can
Class or a
tell.
live podcast? Or
Live
both?
podcast.
Okay.
And then class will. That's going to be probably further down the road.
Yeah, if I can get some land, that'd be great. But I digress.
I know someone who has some land. If they would just text me back.
I wanna own it.
Yeah, that's true.
I wanna own it. That's my whole thing. But no, we'll get there. Should we roll into some news?
Let's roll into some news.
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Well,
brother.
so again, something that if we had highlighted earlier, this week, Fox Brothers is doing their annual Hogs for the Cause taco with Taqueria del Sol.
Yeah.
You can go to any of the locations. All proceeds from that taco purchase go to Hogs for the Cause. So if you're in the Atlanta area, if you're listening to this live, you can go did it today. If you're listening, we'll have it up by. Do we have the episode up usually Friday night?
Yep.
So you can go get it Saturday and Sunday. So go out to Fox Brothers, either West Side. I think the kiosk may be closed for now, but Taqueria del Sol or the original DeKalb location. Get a taco, support a good cause.
There it is, always. And speaking of supporting a good cause, you mentioned it, and we'll just go out of order here. You have your anniversary pop-up going.
Right.
At Pontoon. Drop the date.
That's next Sunday, 3/26.
And for that, we've collabed numerous times in the past. And this go around, we're doing something special. We're doing a mixed pack, and we're also doing the jerk links.
Yes.
So, I'm all about giving back the community. We've spoken and talked about on and off here our own reasons why certain things like Pitmaster Santa is so important, and just our random, give backs to like my sister's house and such. So what we're going to do, the funds from the jerk link set, which will only be pre-order, we're actually going to donate them to Smoke and Hope.
Right. So if you never had the jerk link, so it's your jerk seasoning and marinade, and then I handle the salt calculation and the sausage making process. Like you've had it at a pop-up, we had it at Holy Smoke for everybody behind the scenes.
Yeah, for the Pitmasters.
So I think this is actually the first time people will be able to buy a pack. So it'll be a 3-pack for $30, but 100% of the sales are going to go to Smoke and Hope.
Run by Jonathan Barbecue out of Arizona.
Yeah, and then I'm also going to be doing a variety pack. So sausage has always been a big thing, and I tried to have a lot at a pop-up. So this year I'm doing something a little different. I reached out to a few buddies in the barbecue industry. Tyler Hodge, who you will hear our interview with him next week. So he sent me a recipe. Lane Milne of Goldie's Barbecue sent me a recipe. I just did a collaboration link with some friends in the pop-up Atlanta scene by to Korea. I'm gonna do that link again that they served in their restaurant. And so it will be about 5 different links that I'm going to throw in that pack, and 75% of those sales will go to Smoke and Hope too. That way I just have some money to cover the actual cost of making everything.
Yeah. No, we love it. It's absolutely, I like doing that type of stuff.
Oh, I mean, like my first pop-up at Pontoon, I did like 2 links. All of those sales were donated to the AAPI Civic Fund. Yeah. So it's it's honestly something that it's been kind of an annual thing.
And that's what I try to explain to people. Like, if you build the business with giving back first, like at the foundation of it, you're kosher. You don't have to worry about anything. You'll be just fine. But rolling into some other news here, we have the Pig Beach Barbecue Fest Foundations. It's going to be taking place April 29th, which is a Saturday. Tickets are on sale. General admin is 12:30 to 5 o'clock access. It's about $125. And then you have VIP, and you guys know how I feel about VIP. VIP is $225, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you get a meet and greet, and you get to have meats from the specialty pitmasters. So I've said it before, if you have the option to do VIP, and if you're trying to get into this barbecue world, if you're trying to pick brains, I don't know where else you can go, shake hands, ask a couple of questions to Tuffy Stone, Chris Lilly, and so many great others for $225. So you better jump on that with the quickness, because those VIPs are going to fly, and they're going to fly fast.
Also, at Pig Beach that same week, that Wednesday before April 26th, they're doing Brisket King NYC.
Yeah.
So that's just an annual thing they do. They bring in people like, I think Bark Barbecue got maybe second last year. I know Texarkana has won 1 year. So they bring in, it's a bunch of people in NYC, and then they bring in some outside competition every year. So that's a cool thing too. So you can do a 2-for-1 that week. Go to take a trip up to New York and like for a couple barbecue things, a couple barbecue events. Who would have thought of that?
Who knew? It's always good to see the where it's spreading. It's just going all over the place, but in a good way, in a very good way. And I just have to take a moment here to recognize and honor, because it is Women's Month, and the KC Barbecue Society recognized one of my favorite pitmasters, male or female, Miss Sylvie Curry, the Live Q. They recognized her for just her constant badassery, and that should be a word. So I definitely had to sing her praises here and share that. We'll have the link to the full article right up there. It's just amazing. I said it on the show. Don't let the sweet smile fool you. She's a shark with the smoke, man. I think she just came off of a win a week or two ago, ranking first, second, and third in various categories. So shout out to you, Miss Sylvie. You've got some news for us too, right?
So let's do the thing that's coming up again soon.
Yeah.
Next Monday, 3/20, the Chicago Readers is throwing a pop-up series called Monday Night Foodball. And so the first person that they're having is Joe Yim, Knox Ave Barbecue. So if you're not familiar with Joe Yim, he runs an awesome YouTube page. He moved from Chicago. He was running his Knox Ave like underground pop-up, then moved down to Texas, worked at Terry Black's, Truth, and Leroy and Lewis before moving back up to Chicago. And so he'll do a couple random pop-ups throughout the year. So he's going to do a Korean Texas barbecue menu that night. I think right now over half of the seatings are sold out.
Really?
So if you want to jump on that, again, we're recording on the Friday. So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a little bit Monday where you can get those tickets if you're in the Chicago area. So
yeah, I'm with it.
I know.
He just did a live with Chud.
Right, because he was down at the Leroy and Lewis Barbecue University.
Yeah.
So a lot of people was like, hey, what can you cover stuff that's more in my town? So hey, that's for the Midwest folk, Chicago. We're trying to cover more stuff than just like Texas and Carolina and everything.
I will actually, for Midwest, I will be in Chicago in a couple of weeks. I'm there in either May or June, but I'll be in Chicago, and I'll be posting the tour schedule very soon. And these are free events, so come out, get some grub, show some love. You guys have been asking for it, but I'm going to have the tour schedule up probably when I get back from Vegas. Should be up by then. All righty.
Not to put any pressure on you, but you're going to go to Soul Belly while you're in Vegas?
I'm trying. I really am. My itinerary is jam-packed. And the thing that gets it is you said they're not open on Monday, which would likely be my only available day to go. So
that always is what happens. In all honesty,
the only other shot I have is potentially trying to get there Friday before the flight, because it's a late flight Friday. So I don't know. I'll have to check what time they open, but probably sneak in right at opening to get there on Friday. So if it doesn't happen then, might not happen.
Well, you'll be back in Vegas again.
Yeah.
So
we'll get it. We'll get it. What do you got for us?
So I mean, you just want to do the barbecue festival rundown? Is that what we're going to call this?
Yeah, not
all right. So Hogs for the Cause is coming up. That's 3/31/41.
Okay.
So that March 31st and April 1st. All tickets are pretty much still on sale. That's one for a really good cause. That's down in Louisiana. Then for two, April 2nd, you got the Houston Barbecue Festival. Honestly, if you could probably just kind of combine those and do a crazy weekend of barbecue.
Yeah.
Then Troubadour Fest is coming up May 20th. Windy City Smokeout, that's July 13th through 16th. I think Smoke Game Strong, Come Smoke It, that's April 29th, I believe.
Yes. And I know he'll crush it. I will see him a month after that when we touch down in Austin for Hot Luck. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a couple of cats going to Hot Luck this year too. But we'll probably report on that festival next week when all the full deets and what have you are.
Yeah, I'm looking up the date for Smoke Game Strong real quick. I'm pretty sure it's April 29th though.
Okay.
But I want to make sure I give the right. April 29th, 1 p.m. So.
Oh, there we go.
And that's in Austin.
It's gonna be a good year for barbecue.
Yeah, it's there's so much stuff going on, so many crazy things happening.
Yeah. So that was mine. You've got. Did you knock through? Did you talk about Troubadour Fest? We did.
Yeah. Like I just called it the festival rundown.
Yeah. So that's all knocked out. I'll just quickly touch here on a lot of new rigs are coming out. We talked about Traeger doing their flat top grill. Weber's dropping some stuff. Oklahoma Joe has just released an open fire cooking grill called the Firecraft Barrel Series. So that's definitely going to be something to check out. I'm going to have the link in the show notes. It's not a far out design, but everyone's. I said this years ago. I was like, open fire is what's next. It's the wave, and you want to get ahead of it.
Oh, speaking of which, we talked about him a little earlier, but Bradley Robinson just dropped the newly designed chut box. Actually,
I saw the chut box.
Yeah,
on the he hinted to it on the live, and then he just dropped that setup and what it all does. So good on him, man.
So I mean, it's probably back ordered to all hell now. But
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, if you can't get one of those, you need to go get the Rasheed pit.
Yeah.
When is that dropping?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. There's some fun stuff in the works, and yeah, stay tuned because
speaking of which, fun things in the works. Yeah. How much longer is the Kingsford Preserve the Pit program applications? How much longer are those open?
So the Preserve the Pit program application process is open until March 31st. So you have until the end of the month to apply. I may have to just do a live to answer some commonly asked questions about it, but yeah, it's open. Go apply, submit, try. I know they're like, well, I'm not an established business. Still try. Just still try. Just get your name on the books. Maybe someone will still point you in the right direction or can at least help you get to that level if necessary, but don't count yourself out. It is currently only for the U.S. right now, so that is the big thing. Sorry, Mexico, Canada, and everywhere else. It is currently only in the U.S., and I'm hoping that down the line we can broaden that. But we'll see. But right now, open applications till March 31st. Absolutely amazing mentor lineup. Brian Furman, Pops, Mr. Kevin Bloodsoe, Pat Neely, so many others. Myself at the bottom of the rung. I'm just there to sharpen knives and oil cutting boards. That's it. But I would definitely love to see a lot of people apply because you guys have asked for one-on-one time, pick my brain time, all that stuff. This is it. This is it, and it comes with some amazing perks. So thanks for the reminder on that, brother.
All right, I see another story that I'm terrified of. It's at the top of your list, but
so on the top of my list, I have Rasheed reads reviews. I haven't watched the show, American Barbecue Showdown, and I never read any reviews about the show until someone sent me the review. Our reviews are actually really killer. We've got a couple. Our reviews are great, so maybe we'll do that next episode. People actually like listening to us. I don't know. Maybe everyone's day drinking like we are.
I only day drink with you. Like I save it for special occasions.
Once a week.
Once a week. Once a week. I cut a little loose before noon.
It's not a Sunday fun day.
No, it's yeah. So I hadn't done that, and I don't know what it was. I think someone had sent me an article saying season 2 is coming out and was talking about me being in there and this and that. And I'm like, is this true? It's like, no.
You're not involved in season 2?
I'm not involved in season. I'm not anything. So
they should have taken the Top Chef thing where they bring in the former contestants as judges.
That would be a great idea, but no, I can tell you guys who are out there thinking I'm gonna pull a Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and Spider-Man and pop in. Like, no, that's not happening.
It's still filmed in Georgia, right?
I have no clue.
Okay.
So I am not. I will say this and say it now. Those of you who are thinking of tuning in whenever season 2 drops, and they're just like, we're going to get to see Sheed come back as a judge. I'm not a judge. I am not on the show. Do not watch it for me. Sorry, not sorry. Not really surprised. They usually don't bring back the losers to help new people, guys. So just had to say that definitively. I am not on season 2 of Barbecue Showdown. But with that being said, they'd sent me that article. I was like, obviously none of this is true if it leads with me being there. Probably someone wishful thinking. But then they were talking about reviews and stuff from the first season. I was like, you know what? I've never actually read any of the reviews. I never checked it out. All I saw was it was a New York Times number 2 most streamed show and one of their best voted shows. But aside from that, I never listened to any or read any of the actual reviews for the show. And whew, some of them.
Hold on. Would it be better if you did this as almost like a Rasheed mean tweets thing? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. But these aren't really towards me or is the show. I glanced at a few that I was mentioning, but people really just could not get over the clothes thing, and that got me. And what really got me too, people think this is a scripted show.
Oh yeah. I mean, everybody thinks this is the problem with reality TV. Everybody thinks everything's scripted.
Yeah, they legitimately thought the show was scripted, that we were actors. Someone said the acting was horrible. I was like, well, yeah, because we're not actors and this is real. Let's start with a good one, and I'm just picking a random one here. Wow, that's really, really long. We're going to the next one.
This is riveting radio. This is riveting podcast material.
I love it. I like this one, and you'll see why in a second. The title is Rasheed Was Awesome, the Gentleman Barbecue Master. See, I like this already. I like where this one's going. Let's start there. I got to start off high because it's just going to knock the legs from underneath me like my sisters wrote the review later. Rasheed had me drawn into his cooking, his innovative style, and was just a true gentleman and a good guy. I loved rooting for him and thought he was clearly the winner. The final 2 ladies were great, but Rasheed was consistently good from day one. You're damn right I was. Little known fact, which I don't believe gets shown, but the entire season, I was always number 1 or number 2, except for one challenge. But, we don't talk about that.
The editing, I will say the editing in that show is weird. I remember, I think it was the day that you were cooking like the wild game or the roadkill or whatever.
Yeah.
And they show you opening up a green egg and it shows you cooking beef ribs.
Yeah, like there were some that I've heard like mixed.
He's like, I have
stuff.
to go look that up.
Little continuity issues.
Oh, you noticed? Yeah, you also.
And yeah, the thing that gets me too is I saw like the first episode and that's about it. But I've read through and seen enough from everyone's post that I know what was shown. A lot got left on the cutting room floor.
I mean, but
whole challenges aren't in there.
Well, they're like, how many days did you film?
So this is also the thing. People are like, oh, you guys knocked it out in a week or it is. Like, no, I was gone for like 2 months.
That was 2 months?
Yeah.
I would have thought 3 weeks max.
There were some delays and stuff.
Oh, and COVID.
Well, we were pre.
What, really?
Yeah, we were pre. COVID came out right after we wrapped.
No, they filmed that a year in advance.
Oh, you're right, because you waited forever for everything to drop.
Yeah. So no, I can say that. Oh, we'll just roll on with this one. I agree with the other reviews that Melissa Cookston was extremely annoying. Her conceited ways and harsh criticism was over the top. The rough voice didn't help either. The judging should have been by 3 or 4 judges, 2 with experience, 1 celebrity, and 1 teen or young adult who just loves barbecue. And sides are okay, I guess, but judge just the protein barbecue main course. The plates should be tasted without knowing who cooked them initially, so there's no bias in selecting a winner like Melissa does with all the women. They automatically judge the next meal on how they did the previous cooks. Each competition plate should have been judged without that history. I love the show. I love to barbecue. I would have loved to have gotten an in-depth look at the pits used. I love my Traeger grill. Rasheed would be a good judge next season. You know what? I agree with that. I would have probably been an all right judge.
That honestly, the last comment's the only thing I agree with. I looked at the history of our episodes. By the way, there's a trend of when I show up and start co-hosting, and there's a little E next to it for explicit. So I apologize.
It's okay.
So we're gonna get another one because what I'm about to say. To that review, I go, the fuck? Like, you have to have a harsh critic. Like, if everything's, like, all lovey-dovey, I hate it. Like, I want someone there, like, that's calling it as it is and being critical. Like, not Simon Cowell level, but, yeah. But, no, Melissa was great. Like, I don't, like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's everyone's, like, this one, this title got me. Kicked off 2 best people first. I enjoyed the show besides the obvious flaws of the same clothes throughout the entire season and some obviously scripted moments. People, I promise you, there was no script. We barely had a budget. Talking about a script. But in all, it was entertaining. However, they let the 2 coolest black guys that would have carried the show off first. Like, what? End quote. That was a very, like, oh, cool.
It actually ends with, like, what?
Yeah. It actually ends like what?
Well, okay. How many? There were only 8 to 10 competitors, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it was low. I will say, the one thing about the show is they advertised it as like this pitmaster, like competition cooks and pitmasters from around the country, and about half the cast they were amateurs at best. Like, am I gonna get in trouble for saying that?
No,
I mean, I get it's the first season, and like they want to get people later, get more, I guess, accomplished people later. But like, it was basically the 3 to 4 people that were on the top were the people that had experience.
Yeah, to do it. Like, I can't find it, but one of the reviews talked about how you can't call this a barbecue show because where were the turn-in boxes? Where was this? Where was that? And in my head, I'm just thinking, well, you're just used to that because you saw pitmasters, barbecue masters, and that's how they did it, and that's how comps do it. But barbecue is done in different ways all over. Now, are you ever going to enter a competition where they have you cook your protein in the ground and call it an antebellum style? Probably not, but it's for entertainment purposes. And, you know, there are many parts of the world in which that is how proteins are cooked traditionally. So it's very interesting. Some of these reviews are just way out there.
I think what we need to do is, because this could go on for a while, you need to give like Lee and I the reviews to read, and then you react, and it's just a whole separate other video.
Yeah, it's.
I want to read the people that think it's fake. That's hysterical to me, and I think a lot of people, like, this is actually a problem with. This is how Netflix does reality shows, though. I think it's a problem with how they edit and how they present it. Because if you watch any other reality shows, it seems they skip a lot of what makes reality shows good. And that's the camaraderie and development of character and development of relationships and stuff. And it seems that they edit all of that out. So there's a lot of things that seem like it's missing or rushed. Yeah, you said that it was 2 months. Like, it does seem like it was done in 2 weeks.
But also the challenges were, I guess we just have to do a Netflix episode, but just stuff off the bat, the challenges were the challenges. The time was the time. There wasn't any extensions. You want to eat, you better be cooking something, or you're stopping and you're grabbing something from whatever truck they had out there to feed you, but that clock is going to run. So I would just cook my food with me. Also, the food truck they had was ass. It was horrible food. I was like, I'm gonna just make my own stuff. Like, I think some of my best meals.
Was it the same truck the entire time?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, because we were in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. So they had to truck stuff in, and I appreciate them doing it. But it was not, that was not the move.
Question. So, and this may be more of a lighting thing. Maybe Lee can answer this
I'm
too.
not that ugly that we got to shift
no,
lighting
no,
recording.
no.
Damn.
Like,
I'll turn your light off.
What was it? Was there a lot of lights on set? Because it seemed like it was filmed at the same time.
I'm not that dark, Brian. Jeez.
I'm talking about the natural lighting. Let's not go down this road.
What, you're saying I can't go down alleys at Advantage? I'm starting to see a side of you I've never seen before, Brian.
Look.
Somebody gets a haircut and they get all above themselves.
I haven't got a haircut. That's the problem. It's like, I need a haircut.
No, so there actually wasn't a ton of lights outside.
Okay.
And there wasn't actually a huge amount inside either, but they kept it at fairly consistent lighting. We were just shooting, I think it was one of the hottest summers in Georgia in a decade is when we were shooting. So we were literally dying. Someone mentioned Sheet has sweat spots everywhere. Yes, I was heavier and a Sasquatch, and I sweat a lot.
Wait. So I thought it was filmed. So it was filmed almost a year and a half before it aired.
Yeah.
Because it was holiday season 2000.
September 18th. I remember because my godson was born.
Okay. And then it was filmed the summer before.
Mm-hmm.
I associate it with like holiday season of like 2020 because that's probably where it picked up too.
I think that's what it was because it came out the gate really strong, but then it just held in the top 5, top 10 for a good while. But yeah, that was it was an interesting time, and we'll definitely do an all Netflix Q&A video. But this is not a Netflix sponsored podcast, and that check has long since been spent because we don't get royalties. So let's jump on.
You want to go into questions?
Let's go into questions. You started off, my friend.
Well, hold on. What are we calling this segment? I think we need the music I picked wasn't that great. We'll find better music.
We'll find better music,
but there was a musical intro last week. So
it's not bad. So Question time. It's question time. Nope.
Lee's like, kill me now.
This is horrible. This is why he's like. This is why I don't show my face. I don't want to be
Can't
associated.
associate with these people.
Not in public. No. I don't know. We'll think of it. But for right now, we've got. You've got Q's. We've got A's. Ooh, kind of like that one a little bit. That's not.
It's too long.
It is.
It's too long, and I thought you said something different.
Should we just make sausage jokes now?
We should. Wait till you hear the title for this episode.
You can't do it without innuendos. Like, it's just...
I remember sending Lee the title for the last episode, put your sausage where your mouth is. And I was like, is this too much? Like, nope, that's fair.
It's fair.
It's fair.
Speaking of sausage, why won't you do a buffalo chicken and blue cheese snag? And that comes from little Dom at Big Don. So shout out to Dom at Big Don's Meats down in Perth, Australia.
Shout out to Mark and the whole fam. Hey, Noah. Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Yeah. I think this one's more at me. Why won't I do a buffalo chicken sausage? I don't like to do too many things that other people have done. Mm-hmm. Especially, and then we're getting a call right now as I didn't turn off the Bluetooth.
It's all good.
Let's,
hold on. I remember my first day on the pod.
Oh, jeez. I'm turning on the do not. I forgot, like, the one time I didn't turn on the do not disturb.
You're good, my friend. You're good.
All right. So, especially when it's in, like, your own backyard. So, a couple years ago, while he was still at Fox Brothers Barbecue, Nick Melvin, who was kind of running I think he was kind of like the head chef, and he worked a lot in their commissary. He did a blue cheese buffalo chicken sausage for Windy City Smokeout, paired it with like pickled celery and stuff. And I thought it was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's something that's been done, and I just don't feel like I don't feel like I'm doing enough different or add anything to it to justify doing it.
Because we've said it before, and one of the points that we definitely agree on with one another is we don't want to do repetitive barbecue.
Right. Yeah, if someone else has done it well, I'm not going to try and do it unless I'm doing an ode to it, or like it's inspired by, like I'm paying respects to it. It's just not something that I feel like needs to be done.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see, what else do we have on here? I'll get the next one. No, it's not. I do. This one came into you, but I think it's a good hefty discussion. Sourcing briskets, which are factory farmed versus ethically raised. I guess they're asking, when sourcing, which do we go for?
Yeah, that's Josh Cabransom.
Okay.
Ask that. So, I mean, okay, if you're buying a brisket from a supermarket or Sam's or Costco, most 99.9% of the time it's going to be factory farm, or the term we use, commodity.
Yeah.
Commodity meat, which what we're really referencing is it comes from the big 4 meat suppliers, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ethically raised stuff it's hard to get depending on where you are. Let's just talk the United States, where you are in the country. If you happen to be kind of, I'm trying to think, I almost want to call it the cattle belt. It's really that Midwest section through Texas, kind of up through like Iowa and Nebraska, where a lot of the meat in the country comes from. You're going to find that you'll have easier access to farmers who are raising their cattle the right way. You have brands like 44 Farms, Heart Brand Beef, Creekstone, Snake River Farms, Porter Road, who's a national distributor. You can order them directly through their websites. They're going to be significantly more expensive than, say, a brisket that you just go pick up at your grocery store or your warehouse store. But if you live in those areas of the country, sometimes like HEB will carry Snake River Farms or 44 Farms. They will carry these suppliers that track where their cattle is being raised, where they come from, if they're hitting certain marks on what they want their meat quality to be.
Yeah. No, I have to go about it in from a business point of view. If you're at home, your backyard warrior, you're doing this once every couple of weeks or when the season's right, go ahead, splurge a little bit. You know, if you know what you're doing, and you're not going to waste it, because last thing you want to do is, you know, be wasteful with the food after procuring it. But on a business standpoint, you try to get as good a quality as your market can support. Now, I'm going to run that back one more time. Get as good of quality as your market can support. There's no point in getting Snake River Farm, Wagyu, you know, top shelf briskets if your market doesn't support more than a $15 plate. Like, you have to cook and price for and source for your area. And I learned that, you know, from doing chateaus and doing wine boutiques and then going to the breweries. Certain breweries, we know it. Oh, you can put this price there because you're going to get a better quality for that audience because they don't blink at it. How many times have we done pop-ups and people, they tell them they don't even care. It's like, you ask them if they want, you know, paper or plastic. Boom, go. Now, how many other times have we done it? And, you know, you get that second look, they start, well, let me leave this behind, or I don't really want a whole half pound, or can you do that?
Anytime I cut a beef rib.
Oh, yeah. Price for your market and source for your market. So that's really my answer. Ethical, I get it fully, but business and where you are really does affect where and how you source what you're getting. Personal, I always like to splurge when it's personal because I like to enjoy. I really like to enjoy. And even still when I do my pop-ups, like what people don't know is it's Black Angus that we're getting, you know, for the oxtail that they're enjoying. But yeah, I like to splurge on personal and I try to be mindful of it. But when running the business and keeping it up, I know I can have a greater impact if I'm able to make enough profit to do the other givebacks and stuff that sort of balance out. Hopefully that answers them to some extent.
Well, so it's funny. Just had Redbird at his first pop-up. He went out of his way and got Heart Brand, that Akuashi brisket that Leroy and Lewis likes to use. I think it was over $6 a pound. That was at case price.
Okay.
That was case price. There's a reason why Leroy and Lewis sells brisket 2 days a week. Why it's $36 a pound, and it honestly should be more for what they're paying. They get a lot of use. Like, there's a great video that they did. It came off their Patreon. They go over brisket yield and how much you're actually getting. If you're at home and you're just trimming a brisket, cooking a brisket, and you don't use the rest of your trim, especially on these high-priced briskets that have a lot more fat, you're going to only get, depending on how aggressive your trim, at best 30 to 40% of the original weight.
Ooh. Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like talking with Tyler, you know, limit the waste, get creative, and I like to believe what I showcase in like the lives that I've been doing lately is like, hey guys, I'm with you. You know, I can afford more, but I want to hang on to what I have. Let's make this stuff stretch. I've been juicing, right? So I take my juice and I'll juice in orders. Perfect example. I'll juice like my pineapple and my oranges, or my pineapple and my apples and my ginger first. Then I'll take that remnants and I will actually put it in a pot, add 4 cups of water, 1 cup of sugar, and I'll let it steep and simmer down until it makes a syrup, right? And then I take that syrup and I make ice cubes out of it for my drinks. And then I take the remnants and I toss it in my compost heap for my garden. Trying to get the most out of absolutely everything these days. And if you're in barbecue, if you're in this pop-up line, you need to get very, very creative with your menus and your offerings. And you may not think, you don't go buying $10 fire starters every time, or go filling up a new propane tank and blasting that thing to get your coals going. Save that that brisket wrapping, tear it up into sheets, fold it up, and you've got, napalm basically to start your fires. Had a cook with Corey the other day. What we start the fire with? Some saved brisket paper. There we go. Let's go. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's the farm life, but I try to make everything stretch as much as possible. What you got for us?
Any suggestions on what to cook for this weekend? That's sea pace cuisine.
It's Patty's, yeah.
Patties?
St. Patty's weekend.
Oh, that's right. So I mean, it's too
Cat-
late to start brining a brisket.
Yeah, definitely too. Not unless you. No, it's definitely too late.
You can buy. So I mean, if you want, say, a pastrami, you can always go the route of buying a corned beef. You can buy a corned beef brisket. Desalinate that thing though. So that technique is like get a big like tub or like one of those Cambro plastic containers, fill it up with water, drop it in, rinse it out a couple times. I want to say leave it in there for at least 4 hours minimum, so you can extract some of the salt out of it, because that's going to be way over salted. Then when you season it, don't use any salt on the seasoning. But then that's a quick way to make a pastrami that you can throw on the smoker.
I've got a brisket and 2 tri-tips and pastrami going right now.
Right.
Figured I'm gonna enjoy them when I get off the road and roll some smoke with them. But no, that's a good suggestion. I would suggest, get yourself a nice corned beef cabbage slider. Have some fun with that. Char up the cabbage, hang it, suspend it over a flame, let that moisture do its thing, and steam it inside out. Then hard sear it nicely, nice fine slices, almost like a slaw. And get you a can of what is that? Spam. Comes from a spig. Smoke you up a whole cube of Spam, then reverse sear it, just smoke it for a little bit, then hard sear it in on a skillet using some beef tallow if you've got it. Bacon fat works as well. Slice that up nice and thin, nice pretzel bun, or a nice, I would go pretzel bun. Go a little bougie, have a little fun. A little pretzel bun, and add your cabbage and make yourself a nice little slider.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. It's on me. Ooh. This we get asked a lot. What knives do you use?
So I just have like a kind of a generic set of Dexter knives.
Not to be confused with the serial killer.
Not to be confused with the serial killer, who was only good through like season 4. Yeah, I just have a bunch of Dexter knives. So I've got my, the serrated slicer for serving. I have a couple fillet knives for trimming. And then I just have some generic chef's knives and others, or a couple others. Keep them sharp. I probably don't take as good a care of them as I should.
Yeah.
But honestly, well, their prices went up too, man. Like, it used to be you can get one of those slicers for like $17. I think those slicers.
The 14-inch.
Yeah, I think it's like $40 now.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron Franklin, for increasing the price on slicers.
By the way, are you serrated or unserrated?
Unserrated.
So I prefer, I was unserrated and I switched to serrated. I actually prefer the serrated.
My unserrated is, I keep it razor sharp.
Okay.
So I barely apply any pressure, and I don't do staggered. It's literally, I start at the hilt, one swipe, done. Like, that's what I practice the most. Like, when I make my practice briskets, I'm not practicing brisket, I'm practicing my slicing, so I can get it in one fluid motion. Because I would watch, I don't know if anyone's ever watched how they break down tuna, and these guys have that knife, and they're not sawing or hacking at it. One motion, whole huge slice of it comes off. Like, that's okay. And it's obviously possible because you see them do it. So it's like, all right, just practice that motion. How do I get that motion? So, yeah, unserrated. I do have a follow-up that I'll add to that. What is your favorite knife, if you have one?
I mean, again, I make sure that I haven't got anything like, I kind of like my Dexter fillet knife.
Okay.
Like I haven't bought anything super fancy. So but I get so much use out of that for trimming that like that's the one I probably use the most except for slicing on the cutting board.
Nice. No, I love my old hickory 471 fillet knife. That's my workhorse whenever I'm trimming anything. You know, I just sharpened it and oiled the handle. So that's definitely a go-to. I've got this beautiful 9-inch chef's knife that Terry Crews had made for me. I really like that knife. That's a good one. And I'm really digging a new knife, my Bare Bones chef knife, because I got these big old mitts, man, and it's just got a nice handle I can grip. And I was like, oh, I don't feel like I'm gonna lose this. So, yeah, those are in my top rotations right now.
Yeah, if you're just getting into knives, don't go out and spend a ton of money until you have good knife skills. Like get a Victronox, get a Dexter.
Yeah, don't go drop 400 on a shim. That's not necessary right now.
Yeah, because you're gonna mess up you're gonna mess up a bunch of knives first.
Oh, agreed.
Oh, and this goes without being said, but some people still do this. Don't wash your nice knives in the dishwasher. Please, please don't.
No.
Please don't.
Wash by hand, immediately dry. Don't let it air dry. Dry it immediately. And if you need to, oil them. Oil your handles. If you have a wooden knife that's raw, oil it. A drop or two of linseed and massage the heck out of that thing. Preserve it so that these are knives you can hang on to. Just please. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And this, I had to ask that because there's a show, it's like Grunge Chef Kitchen or Grudge Chef Kitchen or something like that. And the stakes are between two chefs. So you'll have like Chef Antonia versus, like Chef Jet Li or something. And they'll have to put up their knives, their favorite knives. The winner wins the other chef's knives.
It's the pink slip of the cooking world.
I miss pinks. Anyone else miss pinks?
It's about family.
Family. No, well, Pinks was such a good show.
No one ever really dies.
But yeah, that's what had me. Why I wanted to follow up with that. Ooh, what is the most overrated cut of meat?
Filet mignon.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think it is the world's most glorified, inflated, overpriced, and overrated cut of meat ever.
It's so bland.
Oh,
Like it doesn't matter. Like even if you season it right and get a good sear, there's just a blandness to the texture and the fat content. Like because
versus the cost for it, there's no way you can tell me that. Yeah, get the filet over the ribeye. What are you, crazy?
no, like I would rather if you're gonna do a filet, just go do like the chateau portion of it, like where it's kind of this bigger portion and cook different. Like
I cannot stand the filet mignon.
all right.
I really and truly can.
I learn a lot about people when they
when they order filet.
Yeah, you learn.
I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna do that?
Okay,
like, oh yeah, I love fillets.
Like you saw the other options and you still chose this. Like you can tell a lot about a person from the steak they order and how they order it. You come to me, you get a bone and ribeye, and you're like, yeah, let me get that medium well. We have no business after this after this
We
conversation.
blindly asked them to leave. We politely asked them to leave.
We're just done. There's nothing for you here. We have nothing in common.
All right, actually, this is a good question. So we both agree on the filet then, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most underrated cut? What's the inverse?
What is the most underrated cut of meat? Ooh. Huh. I'd say any rump.
Any rump, yeah.
Any rump doesn't get a lot of love on anything. And they don't realize that you can portion those things out so much.
Dude, picanha done right is amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'd say stateside is probably overlooked, but outside I get a love.
And shout out to, while we're calling it rump, shout out to Australia, New Zealand, the UK, where it is called a rump steak. Like that's what it's called.
It's rump.
Yeah, it's rump.
It's rump. All rump.
Yes, I mean honestly, so probably the sirloin because that is the rump. The sirloin is probably the most underrated.
Yeah, and it's very versatile. You can get a lot out of that if done correctly.
All right, this is a good one. Best place to get bulk spices. That's from Bruised Brews. Depends on where you live.
I'd say Restaurant Depot.
Yeah, Restaurant Depot. I get a lot of bulk spices.
Get a good fair amount of good bulk stuff.
The cost is a little too high to go with your favorite, Chefology or whatever.
Spiceology.
Chefology.
They can suck the left and massage the right. Their stuff is top quality, but it is outlandishly expensive, and I believe the prices have only increased due to COVID.
I was doing Monterey Spice Co. for a while.
Okay, yeah.
They just like the prices will look cheap, and then they'll kill you on the shipping.
Go to your farmer's market.
Yeah.
Go find your Buford Highway in your city.
So they don't sell by the pound. You can't go just get like a bunch of go fill up a bag of spices. They have the little cartons that are so they have a really good variety, but even those are kind of priced high.
I've gotten some great celery salt from them before.
But yeah, I like that better than going to get like McCormick's or Spice Island or whatever.
If you're in New York, just hit up a bodega anywhere. They got you.
Yeah, you can buy by the ounce.
Yeah, and we're talking about oregano. Here.
Well, yeah, you can buy other things by the ounce too.
This one will go, and then we can do one more after.
Okay.
Thoughts on electric smokers. This one's from Matt Pewter.
Look, I understand the purpose, like especially if you don't want to have the time, or you don't have the time, and you don't necessarily, maybe you don't have the space for a whole offset setup. That's going to take more room. You got to have a place to store the wood. Totally get it. If you're going to buy one, don't go cheap. There's a lot of electronic components, and if you go cheap, it's going to break down faster.
Yeah.
And I've used a cheaper one, and the quality of smoke that you get, and it was just not a good experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I can see that. I think, just like anything, I know we give everyone, and it's just all in fun. Get down however you get down, as long as you're happy with the end result. But I understand everything has its purpose, has its place, and sometimes that could just be what the budget and the space and the conditions allows for. I would just say don't be pigeonholed and don't just become reliant on set it and forget it type of thing. Like, try to push yourself if you're really going to get one of those. And check out what other ones do. Like, try to get one that's fairly versatile, that has good temperature management, that has good build material. Thinner is not always better, especially in what we do. You need something that's going to retain heat. And also, if you're going that route, be mindful of your fuel. And once again, this is not a sponsor thing. And I remember telling this to the higher ups at Masterbuilt one day. I was like, you guys keep missing the most pivotal point of what your rig does. And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, it saves money on fuel. They're like, how? It's like, because you guys have the quick cutoff system. Like, once I'm done, the coals are lit, I just slide everything back in, kills off all the air. I've just saved coals versus, you know how many guys waste coal because they fill up a whole chimney, then they forget and they let half of it burn down, then they dump more on top of it, and they're making burgers. Like, you realize you don't need that much heat to make burgers, right? You can load like a 3/4 half a chimney and toss a split. You've got more than enough heat to sear, and you're just wasting having to buy more and more. So keep in mind of whatever the fuel cost of what you're getting is going to be, because it may be a cheap rig, but then you realize you're going through, a bag and a half every other cook, and it's $25-$30 a bag. you just kind of spent more than your rig in one season. So, little things like that. I think about things differently. That's
Yeah.
just me.
Well, I mean, I like the comment about don't set it and forget it. It's not a pressure cooker or a crock pot.
Yeah.
Don't
There's
treat
no
it
whistle.
like that. If you don't know how your pellets are burning, if you don't know the quality of smoke, if you come back, put a brisket on there and come back 10 hours later, you're not really. You can control the quality of meat that is coming off it by paying attention to it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. You take the last one, my friend. You
So actually, this is a good question.
Yeah.
Because we're just talking about fuel, what two woods would you use together for a brisket? That's Moses one in.
I use right now, back and forth, just depending on the batch. But right now, I've been going 2-to-1 mesquite, 2 parts hickory, 1 part mesquite. Now, prior to that, it was 2-to-1 oak and hickory, 2 parts oak, 1 part hickory. Hickory for the flavor, oak for the heat. I do have to say, during the winter, I usually do pull a lot more oak because it's got a higher BTU burnage. It outputs a lot more, and we're fighting the cold, So that's why I lean to it, because it really runs well. It breaks down. I use medium to large splits to get a fairly hefty bed of coals, and that's what I'm running on.
So for me, I'm oak and oak.
Oak and oak.
No, but like beforehand, I was a combination of oak and pecan.
Oh, yeah.
And I know our brother Brian Keenan, shout out to Keenan's Pit Barbecue. He's oak and cherry. So he'll use mostly oak and then throw a thing of cherry on.
Beautiful
And
color.
then cherry gives out a great color. He's not going to impart that much cherry flavor, but it's going to give out a really good mahogany color. Briskets are a little weird because fruit woods are kind of useless on briskets.
Yeah, too much of it, you get that bitter, acrid taste. But one thing I will say, I like using fruit woods and very aromatic woods when I'm doing live demos because it fills the air and people follow their nose.
Yeah.
You're walking, you'll catch a whiff and your head will snap. You're like, wait, what was that? You'll just go hunt for it. So if you are ever, anyone out there, maybe you never use this wood, but if you are doing a pop-up or somewhere, it's just like the old trick that realtors used to use where they'd bake 1 cookie in the oven to fill the house.
So you get that hint of vanilla?
Yeah, same thing here. If you're out doing on site, just toss on a couple very aromatic splits just so it fills the air. And people are like, you've seen it at the pop-ups. People have stopped like, what does that smell? It's like, we smelled it down the way we had it come.
Just throw a bunch of pine in there. It's fine.
Please don't cook with pine.
Please don't cook with pine.
Do not cook with pine. It is great firewood, but do not cook with pine.
Do not cook with pine.
That's bad. That's bad.
Sorry that I did that.
No, you're good. Because someone out there will do it, and then I'm like, oh, okay. We're joking. That was a joke. Do not cook with pine. But yeah, that's it. That's it for this week.
Yeah, so sorry we won't be here next week.
Yeah.
But we got a special shorter episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are back the week for May or March 30th. Is that?
Yeah.
March 30th, 31st.
We'll be back. We'll be back that week, and we'll have a special guest. You guys stay tuned. And as always, guys, if you could, please like, subscribe, share, leave us a review. That actually really helps. Or comment on the video. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. If we missed anything, we try to cover as much as what we can find. But I'm Rasheed Phillips, and this has been This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. Joining me is my amazing co-host, Mr.
Brian Hull.
And the face you don't see, but the voice you hear, Mr.
Lee Garman.
And as always, be good to one another.